27 June 2010. We are on a starting gate of the World Motocross Championship Series. My mechanic is on my right. He gives me some last advice. One very important thing, I need to make a quick start. It's crucial for the rest of my race. 15 seconds on the billboard, 5 seconds, I hit the gas, the gate drops. I come out in 5th position. Quickly I am overtaken by some other competitors that are more experienced than me, but I find myself in very nice 8th position. I pass front of the pit lane. My mechanics that tell me on the pit board, keep going, continue like that. Unlike the other time, I was riding like I was flying over the track. I was riding smooth, clean, just perfect. And I arrived on this fateful jump. A very difficult jump with a lot of lines, a lot of ruts, due to the sandy tracks in Latvia. I take the bump, the bike threw me out on the front. I land on my back and I feel a big crack in my lower back. Directly I know my legs doesn't respond anymore. I am paraplegic. In 1 second, I see my entire career before my eyes. And I am thinking all of his sacrifice, all of his suffering, all of his training during the season, and I said, what? All of this for what? For being paraplegic for the rest of my life. Luckily, I'm being taken off the racetrack. They bring me directly to the hospital in Latvia. My parents arrived. My father, first question. He asked me, Axel, how are you feeling? Do you feel something? I looked at my dad and I told him, you know, Dad, I can't feel my legs. I am paraplegic. He looked at me and told me, you know, Axel, this is your Grand Prix. You have to win it. This is a Grand Prix of your life. Some of them make it through. You have to fight. You cannot be second. Axel, this is the fight of your life. Wow. I look at him and answered, you know, Dad, you know me. I will do everything in my power to make it through, but I will fight until the end. My mom was just next to him. He took her on the side because she was crying. My mechanic asked me how I was. I tell him that my back hurt from the surgery plate, but I still don't feel my legs. After 3 days, I flew back to France by private jets. Luckily, I had a private jet one time in my life, maybe the last. And I am transferred directly in a hospital in Lille. And the next morning, the surgeon comes in my room with other doctor to see me. He explained me the situation, the detail of my injury. And my first question was simple. I asked him, Doctor, will I be able to walk again in my life? His answer is simple as well. He said, Mr. Allétru, your spine cord is badly body damaged. We can't know for sure, but one thing is crucial is we have to do surgery again to stabilize all the spine cord and decompress your edema. An operation scheduled in 3 days. 3 days later, they bring me at the medical block and I am on the bed ready to have another intervention. I am so stressful. After this operation, I am transferred in the rehabilitation center based in Lille called L'Espoir. A center that I know well because I already went there 4 years ago for ligament to my knee. When I arrived, I have a completely new room, wheelchair accessible. I feel good. I really feel comfortable. The doctor in charge of the rehabilitation center comes in my room with Gaël, my future physiotherapist. Both of them explain me the situation and how it will go. After 3 days, we start the recovery with Gaël, and we are starting by a simple exercise. Move from the wheelchair over the therapy table. An easy exercise for you, but very difficult for a paraplegic person without his abs. Gaël explained me how to do it. It's tricky, but after 10 times, I find a way to do it. Then we go on a second exercise. This time, Gaël asked me to sit up against the back of the chair. She asked me to cross my arm, and she lowers the back of the chair. At this time, I am thinking, why does she want me work sitting down? Because I want to stand up quickly as possible. I want to walk again. But I don't say anything. Because I tell myself she has more experience than me. So I put my hands off the table and there I fall. Yeah, I fall. I couldn't even sit still without my hand support. Can you imagine that? At this moment, I thought, wait, Axel, you want to work again? You want to stand quickly as possible? And you cannot sit on this chair, that's crazy. So I thought it's going to be a very, very long way. And you know, in your life, if you want to target the moon, you have to target the star before. But you have to taking things step by step. My reconstruction. I went through different stages. Hoping, despair, still hoping, accepting the change in my new life. But one thing is sure is I woke up every morning for one thing. To walk again. My focus was just only that, to walk again. I was trying to instill deep down in my subconsciousness this image to see me standing up. This image was for me, in my mind, like real. Real like I can touch it. Real like I can feel it. I knew if I thought about it 24 hours each day, and if I remained faithful to this mental image, one day it was going to come true. Of course, I don't think like, hey, today I'm going to walk again. No. I used moment of relaxation, moment of somnolence to work mentally. 80% of my recovery has been mentally. As the week went by, I see progress. I see that I am able to work more and more, and after a few sessions, Gail tells me, okay, Axel, from now we are going to get you up, but this time not in the water, but in the real ground. I tell to Gail, okay, but do you know that I lost 80% of my muscles, but you want to get me up between the bars on the real ground? You crazy? She said, yes, of course, but for that, we have to build special braces that would hold my feet in 90 degrees in order to be able to balance. So I called the father of one of my friends, who is an orthoprothesist, and we are trying to think about special braces. He take the molds, the measurement, and after 3 weeks, he bring me the braces. I try them. I'm being careful to not have any contusion. I go with my wheelchair front of the parallel bar, with Gail, front of me in case if I fall down. 1, 2, 3, I'm going for it, and paf, I can stand up. I can stand up with a lot of strength in my arm. I can do it, I can hold it. And after a few sessions, I start to be able to work my balance between the bars and do small step, and then 2, and then 3, and make one-way trip. But after 2 years, I'm not making progress anymore. The doctor starting to talk about my release. I can continue the rehabilitation, but this time outside of the center. We set up a date for my release. And at this time, I asked myself about the future. What next? Maybe go back to school? I'm just 20 years old. Or continue the sport. Sport is all my life. I have always been a sportman. So I decided to join a disabled swim club to prepare my release, because sometimes the shock can be quite brutal to be back in the real world. I mean, in the center, we are always pampered by the nurse. Everyone has a handicap, and as soon as you have a problem, someone comes to help you. So I joined this club where I go swim every Saturday. We are now 3 days before my release. And at that time I tell myself, okay Axel, this time I want to stand up, but with the crutches. I have nothing to lose. I asked Gael if I could. She talked about it to the doctor, he accepted. I go between the bars with Gael, always safe behind me if I fall down. 1, 2, 3, I take the speed and here we go, paf, I can stand up. I can stand up and I feel that I could be autonomous with that. So right away, we ask the doctor to push back my release date. He decided to push back the release date of 3 months. 3 months later, without the help of Gael, I managed to stand up alone with the crutches. And to even walk small step, and then 2, and 3. And walking like 20 meters. But you know, be careful. When I say walking, it's like walking like a robot. But I can do it, you know. And 2 years ago, when I arrived lying on the bed at the center, I said to myself, okay, Axel, if you get out from this down wheelchair, it will be the most beautiful victory in your life. As soon as I left the recovery, I left myself a first challenge. Reach my parents' car on the parking by walking, about 50 meters. And they were like, okay, Axel, we know you can walk, go in your wheelchair. Don't take any risk right now that you finally get out of the center. But when I am on this path to get to the car, many things come to my mind. I realize that I have a handicap for my entire life. I will have to adapt myself in any kind of situation. And now, that's the big question. How to make sense in this new life? What will make me go out of the bed every morning? What will be my life goal? Everyone has a life goal, big or small, but if you don't have any life goal, why get out of the bed? It doesn't make sense. So first step, find out if I can drive a car despite my disability. And now, naturally, when you search something, what are you doing? You go on Google. So I Google, can I drive a car with a paraplegic handicap? I see there is some special hand control to drive a car. Good news, I will be able to go anywhere by myself. Then I tap handicap sports. And I discover an athlete who inspired me enormously, Oscar Pistorius. An athlete that you should know not by his performance, but for what he did. For those who don't know, he killed his wife. Yeah, very bad way. But when I saw this athlete make the final at the Olympics while he is double amputee, I tell myself, okay, Axel, despite my disability, I can be a champion again. Despite what happened to me, I can rebuild myself. And when I was a kid, I had also a dream. Make the Dakar with the motorbike, the Rally Dakar. I don't know if you know the Rally Dakar, but the Dakar is the hardest rally in the world. More than 10,000 kilometers in 15 days. More than 8-hour racing per day in extreme condition. As a normal person, if you finish this rally, it's already amazing. So I said to myself, okay, Axel, motorbike, it's over. But why not realize this dream? Not on two-wheel, but on four-wheel drive, with the car. In 2018, I decided to set up the project #YouCan2020. A project that made a lot of sense to me to prove behind the impossible, there is a possible. Demonstrate wherever you are, person in a wheelchair, whether you are teenager, you are CTO, CEO, manager, we can all have a weak moment in our life, but we can all find a way to bounce back. The 17th January 2020, after 15-day racing in extremely condition, we crossed the finish line of the Dakar. I especially become the first disabled person in the world to win a category in the Dakar with the normal person. But today, this victory is not my most beautiful victory in my life. Today, my most beautiful victory of my life is that after 10 years, even if the doctor tells me I will stay in a wheelchair for my entire life, even if I lost 80% of my muscles, today, I can walk again. With 2 crutches, 1, 2, 3 kilometers. And also with 1 crutches. Today, I am autonomous. I can drive a car, I can ride a bike, I can ride a motorbike. Don't tell that to my mom, I think she killed me. But anyway, I can do a lot of different activity, but I have to adapt myself in any kind of situation. Now, let's talk about resilience. What I am trying to share on a daily basis is that life can be tough, but generous at the same time. I always trusted life and had faith in myself. I learned resilience, and resilience taught me how to accept the situation. Accepting the situation allowed me to continue moving forward instead of giving up, in order to restore meaning to my life and get back in the motion and to be back in the motion rather than stay at home. But be aware, accepting has nothing to do with giving up. In 10 years, I will walk again. I won't be disabled anymore. You know, you, normal person, tend to forget this simple, real moment of life, like just running, dancing, jumping, walking hand in hand. You know, this happiness. Don't forget this happiness of life of each of us. Thank you.